All right. So, as I've challenged our team to connect relationally, connect one on one with students, or connect two on one with students in our small groups, I realized that some of us are more comfortable with that than others. Some of us had more experience with that than others. And so, I wanted to give you a quick training, some 5 tips, ideas from my own experience that you can use hopefully this summer as you try it out. So uh, let's get started with the first thing is just to relax. And I say that mainly because you've already won. Like the fact that you've set aside your time and you've scheduled this time with this student, they've accepted that time to be with you. You're communicating some amazing things to them. You're communicating that you care about them. You're communicating that they're worth your time, that they're valuable, that you want to get to know them. And oftentimes, I've seen this just in my relationships with the students that you're really planting seeds for the future because you never know when they might be in a moment where they want to talk to an adult or need to talk to an adult, and they think about, okay, who in my life cares about me? Well, I met with that adult that one time in the summer. They must really care about me. And so then you've created a connection that they're going to come back to. One of my favorite quotes from Orange is that we show up randomly and consistently in students' lives so that they know we'll be there for them when they really need us. So that's what we're doing too with these one-on-ones and two-on-ones. Second thing is to know your role. And what I mean by this is that it's really easy when we spend time, especially individually with students, to just be their pal or just be their friend. That's the easier thing to do, and just have lighthearted, fun conversation and just keep it in a joking mood. And certainly there's a lot of merit to those things, and we want that to be a part of our one-on-one time, two-on-one time with them. But we also want to remember too that we're their shepherds. We're their small group leaders who have been tasked with guiding them in their faith journey, helping them see where God is at work in their life, listening to their hurts. And so we don't want to neglect that role. And this one-on-one times are an amazing time to step into that shepherding role in a powerful way. And so this certainly doesn't mean that you can't laugh with them and joke around with them during this time. No, it's just remembering that really is our main focus here, is to be their shepherd during this time. So that leads into my third tip, which is to have a plan. So now some of you will take this more seriously or thoroughly than others based on your personality. And for me, I tend to lean more towards a structured, detailed person, and I just find that the more I even plan out conversations or times together, they end up being more fruitful. And so I'll give you an example of what this might look like, and I tend to think about it like levels of depth. And so when I start out in a one-on-one setting, I want to start with something that's really current or tangible in their life, something that is even happening that day that I know of, or just asking them about their day, or if they just came back from a vacation, or they just had a big life moment like graduation or a sporting event. I'll check in on that. I think that's something that they can easily connect to start off the conversation. And then we'll move into like interests and getting to know you, things about family and their activities, their even their what they do in their free time or their friends, and then even within that realm, moving to like their passions and their dreams and their fears. And then the kind of the final depth level that I think about is the spiritual side of it all. Relates again to the shepherding, talking with them about how their faith is, where they are in their faith journey, what their relationship with God looks like, and that's usually something I move towards, and it's usually at the end of our time because we're gradually building a comfort level with each other throughout that time together. So then that all of those things relate to this next point, which is to ask open-ended questions. So oftentimes these one-on-one or two-on-ones can be awkward because it's really just yes or no questions. So instead of asking, did you have a good day at school, ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how was your day at school today, and why did you give that number? Or when asking about their relationship with God. Instead of asking, is your relationship with God good? Asking, okay, how are you with God right now? What's He teaching you? Some of my other favorite questions, and fun questions too, are to ask, like, okay, if Jesus was here with us right now, what would you want to say to Him, or what would you want to ask? Or if you could do one thing for the rest of your life, or you could spend time with just one person for the rest of your life, who would that be? So yeah, just when we're thinking about the questions we're asking them, keeping them open-ended. Finally, this is something I always try to close with, and that is to close with asking for prayer requests, and then even to pray with them too. I know one time I met with a student, and throughout most of the conversation, we really were just kind of in the pal stage, and we didn't get very deep. I kept it lighthearted for whatever reason. I just wasn't entering into a deeper level. And at the end, I did ask, what's something I can pray for you, bud? And that's when he started really opening up and sharing about how he was doing with his faith, something that he was really struggling with. And we had an awesome conversation about how he could see God at work in that, how he could pursue Jesus with that. And it was all because I just asked if there was something I could pray for them. And a lot of times they'll say homework, or I don't know, they're stressed about work. But you never know when you ask that question, what's something I can pray for you? That's a really sweet way to end time together. It's communicating too that God cares individually about them, even the little things that are happening in their life, and that prayer is an important part of our lives as adult leaders, that we would care enough to ask them what we can pray for, and then to even pray with them on the spot. That's just a sweet time. So yeah, hope you learned something from this. Hope you have an awesome experience with this summer. Yeah, I love one-on-one times with students. So thank you for taking this challenge with me, and yeah, have a good day.